Today we're talking about Volkswagen and Škoda, 52 facts about the brand that built the Beetle, created the Golf GTI, made official sausages, survived one of the biggest scandals in car history, and somehow turned German overthinking into a business model. Number 1. Let's start with the weirdest one. Volkswagen's best-selling product is not the Golf, not the Beetle, not even a car. It's a sausage. Volkswagen makes official currywurst with its own VW part number, and in 2019 they sold more sausages than cars. That means Volkswagen is technically a car company with a meat department that outperforms the showroom. Number 2. Volkswagen lets drivers adjust the pitch of the reverse warning sound. But because this is Germany, they did not just make it beep higher or lower. They tuned the pitch changes so smoothly that you can basically play little songs while scrolling through the settings. Most brands give you a backup beep. Volkswagen accidentally gives you parking sensor piano lessons. Number 3. In 2021, Volkswagen tried to pull an April Fool's joke by claiming it was changing its name to Volkswagen for electric cars. The problem? They leaked the joke in March, confirmed it to media outlets, and their stock moved because people believed it. Then VW said, "Relax, it's just a prank." Regulators were not laughing. That is what happens when German humor meets the stock market. Number 4. Volkswagen once had the slogan Das Auto, which basically means the car. Then in 2016, they replaced it with Volkswagen. That's it. They swapped a slogan for the company name. You can almost hear the marketing meeting. What should our new slogan be? What if we just say us? Number 5. Volkswagen has one of the darkest origin stories in the car world. It began in Nazi Germany as the People's Car project, with Ferdinand Porsche designing the Type 1 Beetle under government pressure. Then World War II started, VW built military vehicles using forced labor, the factory was bombed, and after the war the British almost dismantled it. But a British officer named Ivan Hurst saw potential in the Beetle and restarted production in a half-destroyed factory. Volkswagen's second life started under a roof with bomb holes in it. Number 6. The original Beetle was so airtight that it could float on water for a while. Not because it was designed as a boat, but because the body sealed tightly enough to become buoyant. So technically, the Beetle was not just slow and cute, it was also briefly aquatic. Before we continue, if you enjoy videos like this, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. These videos take a lot of time, research, editing, and money to make, and your support really helps us keep going. Thank you. Number 7. The Golf GTI only exists because Volkswagen engineers ignored management. In the early 1970s, they wanted to build a sporty Golf, but the board said no because they did not see a market for it. So the engineers secretly worked after hours, built the prototype anyway, and then showed it to the bosses. The board loved it. And that is how the hot hatch legend was born, disobedience with a gear knob. Number 8. The 2001 Volkswagen Phaeton had visor mirrors with 2 zoom levels. That is such a strange luxury feature. Most cars give you a mirror. Volkswagen gave you a beauty inspection tool, because apparently the Phaeton was built for people who needed to check their face in high definition before backing out of a mansion. Number 9. If you buy a Volkswagen in Germany, you can pick it up directly from the factory in Wolfsburg. And if you do, VW moves your car through a massive glass delivery tower so the odometer can still read 0. The tower is 48 meters tall, holds hundreds of cars, and is one of the fastest automated parking structures in the world. That is not a delivery center. That is a car vending machine for adults. Number 10. Some Volkswagens can react if the driver passes out. First, the car tries to wake you up by tightening the seat belt and jolting the driver. If that fails, it brakes in short pulses. And if that still does not work, it can pull over, call emergency services, and honk to attract attention. That is not just safety tech. That is the car saying, "Wake up, or I'm handling this myself." Number 11. Volkswagen's famous Think Small campaign changed advertising forever. In America, where everyone loved huge cars, VW could not compete by pretending the Beetle was big or powerful. So they did the opposite. They made fun of its size, its slowness, and its weirdness. Instead of hiding the problem, they turned it into personality. That campaign helped prove that brands did not have to act perfect to sell. Number 12. The ID. Buzz hides a tiny image of an ID. Buzz under an umbrella that only appears when you use the rear wiper. It's a small Easter egg, but it feels very Volkswagen, cute, unnecessary, and probably discussed in a meeting for 6 hours. Number 13. In the 1960s and early 1970s, Volkswagen gave savings bonds to parents who could prove their child was born in a Beetle. Over 200 children were reportedly rewarded. Which raises the obvious question, how exactly do you prove that? Did someone need a witness? A receipt? A tiny birth certificate from the back seat? Number 14. Many Škodas come with built-in umbrellas and ice scrapers. That sounds simple, but it's genuinely smart. Instead of pretending customers live in a perfect showroom world, Škoda looked at rain, ice, and everyday irritation and said, fine. Put the solution in the car. Number 15. Volkswagen became the most valuable company in the world for one day in 2008 because Porsche tried to take it over. Porsche bought so many VW shares that short sellers got crushed, VW's stock exploded, and millionaires lost fortunes. The funniest part? Porsche went deep into debt trying to control Volkswagen, only for Volkswagen eventually to absorb Porsche. That takeover attempt basically turned into a German corporate boomerang. Number 16. The name Golf does not come from the sport. It comes from the German word for the Gulf Stream, and many Volkswagen names come from winds or weather patterns, Jetta, Bora, Sirocco, Vento, Passat. So the Golf is not named after rich people hitting balls. It's named after air and currents, which sounds way more Volkswagen. Number 17. After World War II, the United States reportedly offered Henry Ford II the Volkswagen factory for free. Ford said no, claiming it was not worth a damn. Imagine passing on Volkswagen for $0. That might be one of the worst, "nah, I'm good" decisions in automotive history. Number 18. The famous Kong dog toy exists because of a Volkswagen bus suspension part. A man named Joe Markham had a German Shepherd that destroyed every toy, until the dog started chewing on a rubber VW bus bump stop and loved it. Joe realized the material was perfect for a durable toy, and after years of development, Kong was born. So yes, Volkswagen accidentally helped create one of the most famous dog toys on Earth. Number 19. The designer behind the Beetle's air-cooled engine was paid shockingly little for work that helped sell over 20 million cars. The source says he got around $20 for the engine design and very little for the VW logo too. That is the kind of payment that makes you want to haunt an accounting department. Number 20. Volkswagens can automatically switch to air recirculation when you go into reverse so you do not breathe in your own exhaust fumes. That's actually smart. The car basically says, you are backing into your own smell cloud. Let me help. Number 21. Volkswagen engineers secretly built a twin-engine Sirocco for Group B rally. The board cancelled the project because it might compete with Audi's Quattro, so the engineers worked after hours anyway. Since they had no budget for all-wheel drive, they put one engine in the front and one in the back. That gave them power and traction without borrowing Audi parts. It was clever, insane, and sadly killed before it could race. Number 22. The Volkswagen EOS was the first hardtop convertible with a sunroof. Which sounds impressive until you think about it for 2 seconds. Why open a small hole in the roof when the entire roof can disappear? It is like ordering a swimming pool and then asking for a cup of water. Number 23. Volkswagen infotainment systems use proximity sensors that hide or reveal menu labels when your hand gets close. It feels clean and futuristic, but it is also classic German overengineering. Even the screen needs to know when your finger is having thoughts. Number 24. The Beetle was heavily inspired by the Tatra T97, and Tatra actually sued Volkswagen over it. The lawsuit was interrupted by Germany's invasion of Czechoslovakia, but after the war, the case returned and Volkswagen eventually had to pay a settlement. So one of the most famous cars ever made has a legal shadow behind it. Number 25. The 2018 Golf RK fob came with a shiny metal R-branded piece in the box that owners had to install themselves. It was free. It was included. But Volkswagen still made you finish the key yourself. That feels less like a feature and more like IKEA emotional training. Number 26. The Golf GTI's plaid seats and golf ball shifter came from Gunhild Liljeqvist, Volkswagen's first female designer. Before VW, she designed chocolate boxes. People initially mocked her ideas, but those two details became some of the most iconic parts of the GTI identity. She gave the Golf personality, and the engineers probably needed it. Number 27. The multicolored Volkswagen Polo Harlequin started as a tiny promotional idea. VW made only a few at first to show how customizable the Polo was, but people loved the weird patchwork look so much that Volkswagen ended up building thousands. It looks like someone assembled the car from spare body panels, and somehow that became the charm. Number 28. Volkswagen's history in Brazil includes serious allegations that the company helped the military dictatorship monitor, capture, and abuse opposition-linked workers and union members. Decades later, VW reached a settlement over those claims. It's one of the darker parts of the company's global history and a reminder that big car brands are not just products, they also have political baggage. Number 29. Volkswagen DSG farts are not just a joke name. They are basically real. When DSG gearboxes shift, fuel cuts and exhaust combustion can create that sharp sound between gears. So when people call them DSG farts, they are accidentally being mechanically accurate. The car is literally making a gear change burp. Number 30. The original Beetle went through durability testing on one of the most janky-looking test machines ever built. It looks less like advanced engineering and more like something someone welded together after too much coffee. But it worked, and the Beetle became famous for toughness. Sometimes science looks ugly before it becomes history. Number 31. Volkswagen has around 650,000 employees, making it one of the largest employers in the world. It has more workers than some massive logistics companies. Volkswagen is not just a car maker. It is basically a small country with factory badges. Number 32. Volkswagen once built a W12 Golf just to show off. Not a GTI. Not a normal hot hatch. A Golf with a twin-turbo 12-cylinder engine, 650 horsepower, rear-mounted power, and a much wider body because that was the only way to fit the madness inside. It never went into production, but it proved Volkswagen engineers occasionally wake up and choose violence. Number 33. Domino's Pizza technically began with a Volkswagen Beetle trade. In 1960, two brothers bought a small pizza place. One brother later left the business and accepted a VW Beetle in exchange for his share. The other brother kept the company, renamed it Domino's, and eventually sold it for around $1 billion. That means one Beetle was basically traded for half of what became a pizza empire. Number 34. Volkswagen had trouble selling the Touareg because it was expensive, complicated, and thirsty. So naturally, they responded by giving it a V10 twin-turbo diesel that could tow a Boeing 747. Then, when that still was not enough, they later gave it a W12. Volkswagen saw a sales problem and answered with absurd engines. Number 35. A massive Mercedes emblem in Berlin was once powered by an air-cooled Beetle engine. That is one of those facts that sounds like a fake rivalry meme, but it happened. A Volkswagen heart was literally making a Mercedes logo spin. Number 36. Volkswagen has a secret test track near Wolfsburg called Ereleschen. It has a straightaway so long, around 8.7 kilometers, that you cannot see the end because of Earth's curvature. It was built near the Cold War border where spy planes were restricted, making it perfect for secret high-speed testing. That is not a test track. That is a conspiracy with asphalt. Number 37. Dieselgate was awful, but the cheating technology was terrifyingly clever. Volkswagen's software could detect when the car was being emissions tested by monitoring steering, throttle, speed, and other signals. During tests, the car behaved cleanly. On the road, it polluted far more. When the scandal broke, VW paid tens of billions, the CEO resigned, and the company's image took a massive hit. It was genius engineering used in the worst possible way. Number 38. If you own a classic Volkswagen, you can buy an official birth certificate from VW. It tells you things like original paint color, production date, and where the car was sent. That is kind of adorable. Your Beetle can literally have paperwork like a tiny German baby. Number 39. The name Tiguan is a mix of tiger and iguana. Which makes absolutely no sense, because those animals have almost nothing in common. One is a jungle predator. The other is a lizard that looks like it judges salads. Somehow, together, they became a crossover. Number 40. Volkswagen sold a vehicle literally called the Thing. That was the official name in the US. It had a rear engine, a tiny frunk, removable doors, weird locks, exposed simplicity, and a hood that looked huge even though the engine was not under it. Naming it, the Thing, was honestly perfect, because what else would you call it? Number 41. The world record for fitting people into a Beetle is 20 people. 20. In a Beetle. At that point, it is no longer a car. It is a clown suitcase with registration. Number 42. Volkswagen once sold electric guitars with their cars. In 2006, buyers could get a guitar matched to the car's color with the VIN etched into it, and it could connect to the car stereo. Most brands offer floor mats. VW briefly offered garage band starter packs. Number 43. The Karmann Ghia used air pressure from the spare tire to power the windshield washer system. So if you wanted clean glass, you had to sacrifice a little spare tire pressure. That is such an old Volkswagen solution, clever, weird, and slightly inconvenient. Number 44. Nike and Ben & Jerry's both have origin stories connected to Volkswagens. Not huge corporate offices. Not luxury meeting rooms. Volkswagens. Apparently, if you put enough ambition into a VW, it can become sneakers, ice cream, or a global empire. Number 45. Older Volkswagens often would not let you spray windshield washer fluid if the sunroof was open. Why? Because VW did not want you accidentally misting yourself through the roof. That is surprisingly thoughtful. The car is basically saying, you're about to make yourself wet, genius. Number 46. Volkswagen has said it wants to make its cars look friendlier instead of chasing the aggressive angry face trend. And honestly, that is refreshing. Every car today looks like it wants to fight a curb. VW looked at that and said, what if our cars didn't look like they were going through a divorce? Number 47. Volkswagen was involved in a disturbing corporate scandal after a former employee leaked hours of secretly recorded meetings about supplier pressure and alleged intimidation. Before the trial, that employee was later found dead in a car fire, ruled a suicide. His house had also mysteriously burned earlier. I'm not saying this sounds like a movie plot, but it definitely does not sound normal. Number 48. Every Volkswagen comes with emergency rain ponchos. It is a small detail, but it feels very VW, practical, prepared, and slightly like your car thinks you are going camping even when you are just buying groceries. Number 49. The Volkswagen bus started because the factory needed a better way to move workers. They were using flatbed vehicles that were unsafe, so Ben Pon imagined a covered van with the cabin pushed forward. That idea became the VW bus in 1950. One of the most iconic vans ever basically began as factory transportation problem solving. Number 50. Volkswagen initially did not want Disney's Herbie to be a Beetle. They were worried the living car character could be a liability and threatened legal action over the badges. Then the movie became a massive hit, and suddenly VW was happy to embrace Herbie. Funny how quickly risk becomes marketing when people love it. Number 51. Volkswagen owns a football club, VfL Wolfsburg. Which makes sense, because Wolfsburg basically exists because of Volkswagen. In that city, VW is not just an employer. It is part factory, part identity, part local gravity. Number 52. Old air-cooled Volkswagen still needed heat, but they had no engine coolant to warm the cabin like normal cars. So VW routed air through chambers around the exhaust system and sent that warm air inside. Clever? Yes. Effective? Sometimes. Safe? Let's not get too confident. It was German ingenuity with a faint smell of danger.